I feel compelled to share with the world. The number one thing that comes to mind is the quickest way to make God laugh is to tell him how serious you are about your plan. And what I didn't realize what God was doing is saying, well, let's pause on being rich and let's focus on being wealthy. So for me to quit was the biggest leap of faith into the abyss, as stated by this Jesus calling. I want to see your faith of leaping into the abyss. Like, you can't really know your emotional intelligence unless you master your ability to gauge your being real with yourself. So many bystanding women would come and watch me and this other father working with our daughters. It was some 14 days that we were there. And they'd be like, I wish my father did this for me.
This is James Rousseau, a.k.a. Trig, and let me welcome you to the CoreLink Solutions Show. All right, y'all, welcome back to the CoreLink Solution. You know what it is? My focus, empower you to reach your potential through faith, arts, vocation, and education. Today is no different. I'm inviting back my brother from another mother, we sometimes say, a dude I've known for a little while now. We met in Bible study years ago, and our relationships continued. He tolerates me, I tolerate him. We've done some life together, and let me tell you who he is officially. Michael Holden. He joined me last year, you guys remember, to talk about his new book, The Authenticity Deficit, Why Financial Advisors Are Failing to Connect. This time, I want to see what's been happening with him since that book has dropped. I want to talk about his trip to Fiji. I want to talk about how he's been finding himself. I want to talk about the lives impact, all those good things. Michael Holden, welcome to the CoreLink Solution and Holy Culture Radio again.
Hello, my brother from another mother.
So I'm going to ask you the question again, and you can't use the same answer.
Okay.
What's one thing you can share with my audience that most folks don't know about you?
I am fundamentally transformed. The man that you met even last October is a completely different human being.
Wow.
And I think
What a lead-in.
If you were to call anyone that I haven't spoken to that has known me for my entire life, I think every single person would look at me and be like, say what?
All right. We're not going to ease into this. I guess we're jumping right in. So then what's happened since October then?
There's no
you
other
came
way.
in October, and here was my takeaway. You were giddy with excitement about this book, the transparency of the book, right? The Authenticity Deficit, and I love the subtitle, Why Financial Advisors Are Failing to Connect. I think at that time you said a number of things that for people in your financial community, they may have want to hung you out to dry. Like, you were incredibly transparent about the inner workings of the different segments of financial institutions, right? The pros and cons. I think if people were shopping for financial advice, I think it was helpful to understand big houses versus small, etc. You were also, I think, providing a view in just the corporate life and all the things that can happen to you and being a part of that. Lastly, you were starting to develop the authenticity quotient. You were starting to get this quantitative, piece together and framework, right? So that's where we left off. Excited, giddy, kind of ready for speaking tour maybe, changing lives through this thing. What has happened since last October?
Yeah, man. Excited, giddy on the camera.
Yeah.
But maybe...
You made me walk around the parking lot with you after dinner. I've done that with no other human being. Matter of fact, I should say this on there because my wife's going to hear it. I've never walked with my wife after dinner. This dude made me walk around this parking lot 3 or 4 times.
That's right.
Okay.
Because there's no finer way to connect.
Listen, so you must now explain it all. What's going on? What's happening?
James, I was excited. I was giddy. We are such close friends. So I was extraordinarily happy to fly in, come spend time with you. When I came last, I spent some time with my father-in-law.
Yes.
We did some Gettysburg. And the truth is...
Nobody says we did some Gettysburg. Max, does anyone say we did some Gettysburg? No.
I don't think so. We got us some Getty. We got some Getty.
No. We've got to... This will be edited. No,
We got Getty with it.
We got Getty with it. Oh, there's a bad song coming. We got Getty with it. Lord have mercy. There's a bad song coming, Max. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, man. The truth was, James, I was pooping my pants, dude. Yeah. I was scared.
Yeah.
Because I'm here after a year later to testify of the power of surrender, the importance of the leap of faith, and there's good on paper faith, and then there's actual to the world, like how you exist on earth faith, right? So, and help me. I'm going to paraphrase it. You can know God, and you can know the rules of God, but equally go look in the mirror and not know who that person is. What comes to mind when I say that? There's a Bible verse that talks about knowing the law is one thing, but then going and looking in the mirror based on your actions and not being able to remember how you look is the other.
Knowing the Spirit.
So on paper, I was making this leap of faith. I was not even a month in to separating from a 25-year consecutive career.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. And really coming here a year later, the things that have come to pass, I feel compelled to share with the world. And the number one thing that comes to mind is the quickest way to make God laugh is to tell him how serious you are about your plans.
Yeah.
And that was my overarching call to surrender, to stop with my schematics, because schematic is the word. Like, imagine Tony Stark in Iron Man when he sketched out that iron uniform.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I was hyper quantitative on every move I've made. And at this juncture in life, after these 13 months, I realized that I was burning the candle at both sides of the wick for no reason.
Right.
And you know, cancer came from that, and back surgeries came from that. And like, your world falls apart. My world fell apart. Like, woo, it was just too much. It was too much to do all those things with all those plans I had.
Right.
Because I refused to surrender. And this year of surrender, I had all these plans of what I was going to do after this book, to which I surrendered, and none of the things I thought I was going to do, and let's be worldly, right?
Yeah.
I thought I was very blessed. I don't even know how it happened. I did get an Amazon #1 release off the book.
Nice.
But let me tell you, let me tell you, that was blessed, but that doesn't pay the bills.
Understood.
Right? And in my earthly mind, in my flesh, right, I was like, I'm going to create this company. I'm going to take all these executive skills, and I'm going to be the next multi-gazillionaire, and you know, all these fleshly aspirations. But every time that would happen, which would be per day, I would have to silence myself and say, am I actually surrendering? Am I actually following being chosen versus being called?
Right.
Right? And that answer, every time my aspirations came into play, it was no. Like, you have to just go with what you're being called to do, what you're chosen to do.
Yeah.
And
you never showed. Okay, so just to back up a second. So are you saying when you were here, you were feeling already this pressure of leaving the machine and all the accoutrements that come with it, the cash, the blah, blah, blah. You were feeling the weight of that? Because you didn't show it, if that's what you're saying.
I absolutely did not show it.
You did not show it.
But I did feel it, and I was scared, man.
You were scared.
I was scared because I was a director at J.P. Morgan.
Yep.
I was a very senior leader at Wells Fargo. These are the largest. J.P. Morgan is the largest financial institution on earth.
Absolutely.
And it's scary.
You know, I worked there, so I mean, and I still admire the company. But you, and this is me channeling my listeners right now, you were a senior level executive. Surely you have a stockpile of financial wealth.
Surely not, right?
What?
Now, look, I am very blessed. I did come from very humble beginnings.
Yeah.
I started working full-time at 14.
Yeah.
Listen, I did drywall. I did brick. I drove forklifts. I mean, I did what I had to do.
Pulled yourself up.
I'd go and I'd mow lawns. I'd go beg people to buy, like, these VHS cassette tape holders, house to house. I did what I had to do.
Right.
Do I have stockpiles of money? No.
Right.
But are we in a situation where we're like in physical pain, or without a roof, or without food? No.
Right.
Our life,
but it's uncomfortable.
It's super uncomfortable.
Right.
It's super uncomfortable.
And by the way, I relate. Having come out of corporate to run a nonprofit, I understand.
I think that's why we gel, right? Because you're like 7 to 10 years ahead of my journey.
Yeah, okay.
And I look up to that.
That's fair.
I big time look up to that.
Be careful looking up to that. No, I'm just playing.
But you're aligned, and you've answered your call, and it's a huge blessing.
Right.
And that's where, in this amount of time, all these things that I had my fleshly ambitions for, they were all put to the side.
Right.
And like, look, imagine 2 watches, right? you got this silver watch and you got this gold watch.
Right.
And this gold watch says I'm rich.
Yeah.
And that one side of me is like, I want to be rich because I'm not rich.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize what God was doing is saying, well, let's pause on being rich and let's focus on being wealthy. That's the silver watch. And the silver watch, what is being wealthy versus being rich?
Redefining.
Man, I went to this wedding a couple months ago of a friend that I used to work with. And we'll just say, you know, he's hyper affluent, which is code for, you know, homie's rich.
Yeah.
And I was telling my wife, she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, man, I have so much anxiety about going to this wedding because I love this man. He's such a good friend of mine.
Right.
I was like, but my wife, Rebecca, I'm like, Rebecca, I am going to be judged because you don't understand. These circles open with what school did you go to? What do you do? Right. And like, I'm going to be like, what? You know, like I'm on this sabbatical, right? And I was feeling really like high anxiety about it because I also didn't want my friend to be embarrassed about my presence at his wedding.
Come on. You really
I
thought
was
that?
like, man, this is one of those circles.
So if you're not currently in a chair where you can say, my title is da-da-da-da-da.
Thanks for saying that because Rebecca said, no way, man. It's not like that. She knows my friend.
I get it. I understand.
And I was like, all right, let's go. So we go.
Yeah.
At 100%. Oh, your name's Michael? Oh, what do you do? What school did you go to? Like, okay, you know.
You don't even get to what school you go to. If you can't answer what did you do, what do you do right? You don't even get the second question.
And then you get this like this frog face look.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, it's like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So finally, you know, I'm just kind of, I calm myself.
Yeah. Right?
Because these are limiting beliefs, and I realize that they're like fake limiting beliefs. So how do I trump this limiting belief? So trumping the limiting belief in my own silence, I'm like, let me just bring the aggregate total of all the blessings of my life to be present in this one moment. So I'm sitting at this table. Say the table's worth, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, $80 million.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like thematic. And my wife, Rebecca's dropped jaw. She's like, man, you were right. Like, everybody's asking, you know, like, how's this guy even here?
Right.
And I said, listen, I've been in finance for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I'll respectfully and humbly tell you that I'm probably one of the only people who figured out that you can save enough money to buy your youth. To buy your youth. And I bought my youth for the past year. What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that mean?
That means that we are constantly pulled as husbands, as fathers, as members of the community in ways where it's not sustainable. I cannot be fully present on all of those pillars without having to give one or the other up. It's too hard to be a fully focused dad being an executive, period.
Yeah.
And every person at that table knew it, right? And I was the youngest guy at the table.
Yeah.
And my wife was the youngest gal at the table. And this discussion around, hey, we saved, we surrendered, and we're actually enjoying the fact that we're still young and able-bodied, and I'm using this time on other things. And all of a sudden, there was this unanimous curiosity and like agreement of, wow, young man, that's exceptional, right? And so we turned around my limiting belief to something that became a magnetism and a subject of discussion for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
It was a small wedding. Say there was like 30 families.
That's good.
And it's these types of things that I did not plan for, but that continue to happen. That it's like, okay, let me surrender. Let me see where God takes me. And then all of a sudden, these almost impossible mountain moving situations happen.
That's good.
Yeah, man. And
I love that. I love that you say magnetism, because what it reminds me of is like, I can't remember, it was the game set or toy you play with. You didn't know a magnet was inside the game pieces until you started playing. And you go, oh, you start seeing them, you know.
Connect,
right? And that's, I could literally like visualize you at this event, and as this unpacks, all of a sudden these people are drawn to you, and they may not have even realized the desire to understand this better was even inside of them.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Until you start to share it a little bit, and it's like, wait a minute, what is something's drawing me into this conversation and into this interest?
So questions would come where these folks are like, well, what are you doing with your time?
Right.
And then I get fired up like, let me tell you.
Yeah.
You know, I have been hyper focused on my role as a father. So I volunteered to be the chief of the girls' foxtrot, which is the Princess Guides, right? And I can barely handle my 2 daughters. Now I had 50.
A tribe.
And, it's call it like it's Boy Scout, Girl Scouts, but it's a little different. We'll go do campouts every season. We do canoe trips. We go do, we just did a 5K for one of my friends who passed away. It's really a cool tribe.
Yeah.
And I had this unique privilege of being the chief of it.
Right.
And so my 2 daughters are in there, and we do all these core concepts that young ladies should learn.
Right.
We ended up winning Honor Tribe of the Year.
Yeah.
Now, James, I have pictures of me and Jamie Dimon, and Jamie's giving me a trophy, and pictures of Charlie Scharf, and Charlie's handing me a trophy. And for those who don't know, these are the CEOs of Wells Fargo and JP Morgan, respectively. And, you know, I did that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I got the degree from the fancy school, blah, 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 right? I am significantly more proud of that little patch that said Honor Tribe of the Year than I am of maybe
I hear you.
almost anything I've done.
I hear you.
And I got to give a speech to those little babies. And, you know, they're like, I think the oldest age is maybe 15, 16, but they're still babies, right? And when we got the award, I didn't make my speech about me getting the award. It was them getting the award. They did it all. But explaining to them that I lost my father in my arms when I was 23. And you just don't, it's gone, right? Like, I would love to just walk with that man. I'd love to just pick up the phone and hear him say hello.
Yeah.
It's over.
That's so good.
And you should have seen these children, right? It's like, girls, like, this is something that when you're 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, you will remember this day. And all those little faces glowing, you know, they got all their makeup on, they got their, you know, all their headdresses on. It was awesome.
Right.
So here in the beginning, when I take this leap of faith, my flesh has all these dreams, James, and all these aspirations of, I want to acquire all this stuff on the world, right? I want the gold watch. But God said, I'm going to give you the silver watch. I'm going to give you time. I'm going to give you wealth. That's your riches.
Yeah.
But most people can't come and talk about these things, right? Like, I feel like almost like a burden of trying to explain this because it's just, it's hard to put out in the world of this magic that's happening.
Here's what I'm trying to get my head around. Give October, November, you've got 2 things in your head. You've got, I'll just say it this way, solvency. Keeping your house financially secure. And then you've got to stay on the path that God has taken you to, which is opposite of solvency. How are you managing that conflict in your mind?
It is so difficult. It is so difficult. The only way, like, this is like major league level faith.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Fiji, which I'll talk briefly about. So I see you October. I'm like I think it was like November, December, I become the chief for the kids. And then I go to Fiji. I went for a seminar and to just reprogram, because solvency and insolvency and answering what you believe you're being chosen to do for faith, right, is hard. Super stressful, super hard. So I had this opportunity where I got to climb this like 3-story pole in Fiji, and they say, all right, you're going to climb this pole. At the top of the pole is this plate, and you're going to stand tippy-toe on this plate.
Yeah.
And there's a trapeze suspended. Now you're like, you're 40, 50 feet in the air.
Yeah.
And you're on this pole, you're standing on this plate, there's this trapeze, you got to jump and hold on to it. So I'm like, all right. I had no idea I'd be doing that. And I read Jesus Calling every day. And I had no idea we were doing the polls that morning. And the Jesus Calling for that day, it says, faith for the little things is easy. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jesus Calling is a compilation of Bible quotes turned into a daily note from Jesus to you.
Yeah.
It's really, I still read it every day. I read it this morning. Anyway, that morning, the Jesus Calling was, It's easy to operate in faith for the little things.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, I'm getting in my car, get me to work. Please don't let me crash. Travel mercies, travel mercies. And he's like, Jesus, I'm aspiring for a good grade on this. Like, help me not fail, help me get an A. Small faith. And then it says, well, what about the moments where you have to have big faith? Like when my wife was 9 months pregnant and I was diagnosed with cancer. 9 months pregnant, right? Or what about when you feel like you are absolutely not doing what you're supposed to be doing, even though the world is decadently rewarding you for your job, but you are a shell knowing you're not answering what you're supposed to be doing, right? So for me to quit was the biggest leap of faith into the abyss, as stated by this Jesus calling. It's like, I want to see your faith of leaping into the abyss.
Right.
So the whole time I'm climbing this pole, I'm like, okay, it wasn't a coincidence that you're talking about leaping into the abyss at 5 a.m. and now it's 8 a.m. and I'm climbing this pole. I got to the top. The whole time I'm praying, man, going to this top of the pole. I get to the pole. I jumped. I did get the trapezius, right?
Right.
Which I am, poop my pants, terrified of heights. Like, oh my gosh, I hate heights. I hate it.
Right.
But I did it. By the time, by the way, they ask you, before you get on, they ask you, they say, I want you to state, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you gonna subject yourself to this?
Yeah.
And at the time, I said, you know what? I've lived an entire life of having my moxie, my mojo, defined by a company.
Right.
Or defined by worldly outcomes.
Right.
And I want to change it. I want to rewire my operating system that I define my mojo.
Yeah.
I need to get my mojo back.
Yeah.
Right? And so everything, I'm praying, and all these people are cheering, going, get your mojo, like there's 100 people there. Get your mojo. And poof, grabbed it, came down, got my mojo. Now, I give you this long story because that's how I've answered the leap of faith.
Yeah.
Is I made that jump into the abyss and I'm still in that abyss.
Yeah.
But it's like my power comes from God. And that is ultimately why I'm here.
Yeah.
Because all of us, I believe we are all entitled to abundance. All of us. But I think what's gotten in the way is our authenticity.
Yeah.
And our authenticity is our truth talk to ourselves. Right? And we've been lied to in so many ways that we're lying to ourselves about ourselves.
Yeah.
That we ourselves don't know. Sorry if that's a tongue twister, right? But we have preconceived notions. I had this limiting belief that everyone in that wedding was going to persecute me.
Why do you think that is?
What a good question. Let me turn it on you because I have an answer for that. Why do you think that is?
Part of the corporate culture conditioning. If you're not there yet, you aspire to be because you see people who have these things that you cherish, right? Because you haven't experienced it yet, right? So I want the whatever. I want to be on the executive floor. I want to do so. Then once you get it, it is affirming of you think who you are in certain ways, right? And it gives you access to certain things. And then if you lose it, you feel like you're out of the club, right? Yeah. So I think it creates a conditioning, particularly for men. Most of us who grew up being trained and taught, whether directly or indirectly, thou must produce.
Yes.
Man don't work, man don't eat. Okay? And that's biblical. Man don't work, man don't eat. But where we've taken it to, if you're not producing, you're not doing anything.
Yes.
That's the problem we've taken it to. It's almost become binary. So I think I can't, listen, I'll be honest. I had an event, I've been a part of a couple groups that were great for me when I was in corporate, and have not been as great once I came out, because going there, I felt the same thing you did. I'm going to say I'm a nonprofit leader. People, oh, that's nice, that's cute. They don't say that's cute, but that's what you feel.
That's what you feel.
You're like, that's nice. Oh, thank you for investing back in the community. We need more people like you. And you feel, initially it was like, man, that stings a little bit. My opinions and insight aren't as valued. And then I got comfortable with it and said, you know what? In certain spaces, they shouldn't be. I am not doing what you do anymore.
Right.
I'm not in that machine. I don't You know what I mean? I'm not a contributor in the same way. And so I finally got comfortable with, well, then why am I going? Why am we just, those relationships that were really good relationships will endure without going to these group functions. That context is no longer the place, right? Our relationships are still cool, but contextually, those particular events or gatherings no longer make sense for me. Bro, like, you know, and some of those things are expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The one I used to go to every year, it's fine when corporate was paying for it. $4,000 to go down, plus the travel, this, that, and that. Hey, man, I run a nonprofit.
Right.
I can't afford to go to D.C. for 3 nights and da-da-da-da-da-da, black tie event and whatnot. And again, the juice is not worth the squeeze. I have no return to speak to. We're not going to do business like we did before and whatnot. You know, I'm trying to create an all-state deal with your company and, you know, whatever the case. It's different.
You know, I think of Game of Thrones from HBO. Like, you're not in that circle anymore.
That's it.
You know, and you used to be.
Right.
And you had your armor, and people would come to you because they could get something from you.
Exactly.
Right? And then now that you're no longer in that circle, your place is not really there.
Right.
Right? That's how I even feel, is that I refer to it as my operating system.
Right.
The way I think has been completely transformed. As opposed to, I lived a life of, if I make a plan and I execute on the plan, I've driven results.
Right.
I make money. If I make money, then I am a man.
Right.
That's the old training.
Yep.
The new training is, if I surrender, I will be taken to, I will be brought there, I will show up, I will do whatever God wants me to do,
Right.
and I will be provided for.
Yeah.
That's like mind-blowing for me.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing. It's still counterintuitive because
Yeah.
it's hard to have a 100% faith-based mind
Right.
exist on Earth. It's hard. But I guess what I'm excited about is, for some reason, we're not dead yet.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And these things have amassed in this year that I wasn't planning on, but that have come to pass. So if you go to, I finally finished the website.
Nice. Nice.
And if you go to this www.michaeleholden.com,
Holden.
MICHAEL, Holden.com, I made an online course where this online course is me just bearing witness to a schematic I made to come to the closest point of my authenticity, which is what I call truthfulness to yourself, or formally, I call it the authenticity quotient.
Yeah.
And this is where things get cool. I talked about it last
authenticity
time.
quotient. Okay.
I talked about it last time, saying in the early 1900s they gave us the IQ, which was a condemnation because you were either smart or dumb.
Right.
And, you know, short of like cheating on the test, there wasn't anything you could do to have a higher IQ.
Yeah.
And kids would make fun of each other, right? We talked about this last year. Then they gave us the EQ in the early 2000s, where it was the emotional quotient. I'm a registered corporate coach. I think you did something like that too.
Sure.
And the EQ was cool because we could study it, we could do the reps, and we could get better.
Right.
And then now I'm saying, no, we need to have the AQ, which is the authenticity quotient. And real talk, you can't have an EQ without first having an AQ, right? Like, you can't really know your emotional intelligence unless you master your ability to gauge your being real with yourself, right? So I've taken DISC reports and the Strength Finders reports, and I'm a different type of mind, man. I could be any letter you want on DISC, right? I just understand the answering for a dominant or for a steady or for a conscientious or for an influential, and all of that stuff is kind of nonsense when you're not true to yourself.
Gotcha. So you've, over the past year, done like a deep dive diagnosis of Michael E. Holden.
Yes. And sharing it with, I think, the Silver Watch.
But not just lab work. You've done field work.
Big time field work.
Yeah.
So
answer me this. So if you were republishing Authenticity Deficit, would you be making edits to it, or does the work stand from last October?
Great question. I will do another book at some point. Yeah. And it's funny because I did my debut of the book on this show.
Yeah.
And we we immediately went away from financial advisors.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like immediately.
I told you that after I read it.
Yeah.
It was not for I mean, you said it was financial advisors because you go deep in some spaces, but this was for anybody.
Everyone.
Anyone who wants to be more real with themselves, period.
Yes.
But my question is, would you be editing paragraphs or paragraphs and chapters, or would you be adding more?
I would just like I'm thinking out loud. The book that I'm going to write will be called Authenticity Amplified.
Got it.
Living your true life, right? And it would be less focused on the finance industry and more focused on just you being you.
Got it.
Right?
Got it.
And I think of all these coaches out there and all these self-motivation people, and they'll open with these very general questions like, are you meant for more? Well,
oh, man.
Think of a question, right?
Yeah,
Are
yeah.
you meant for more?
Yeah.
What's the question that comes to your mind?
Yeah. Am I meant for more?
No, look, these general questions.
These general questions, yeah. I got you.
Everyone's going to say they're meant for more.
Absolutely.
Right? And they keep stating these, what I call symptomatic questions, right? Symptomatic questions are you meant for more? Well, everyone's going to say, yeah. Do you think you deserve more? Can your business do more?
Right, exactly.
Like would abundance be better in your ledger?
It's like asking a person a question. Do you want the five or the 20? Please, I'll take the 20.
They ask you all these leading the witness down the aisle questions. And to me, it's a big duh, but they're stating what I call symptom questions.
Yeah.
Because symptom questions are, if you do feel like you're meant for more, if you do feel like you want more money, if you do feel like you're trapped, these are symptoms, right? What's the sickness?
Right.
And the sickness is you're not aligned. The body, mind, and soul are not aligned succinctly. That your symptoms are that you feel these things.
Right.
Right? Does that...
It does. It does. I do have an idea for you, though. Like, if I were your publisher, I would ask you to consider this. One of the greatest books I think ever sold, of course, Bible's always the best book ever sold, but self-help book, Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh, yeah. I met the author.
What's his name? Jack, can't think of his name, Jack Kennedy, something like that. If I remember correctly, he did a number of different versions to touch a number of different segments. I think that, and again, this is me like with my publisher business hat on and just a self-help hat on, we all know niching down helps a lot in terms of people's pickup and the receptivity and relevance connection, right? So their piece for the financial advisor sticks because you speak exactly to the things they experience. That to me helps draw them in and say, yes, I understand the segments, understand my business model, and then you are able to highlight, well, let me shake that ground a little bit and show you what's missing and the opportunities you're leaving on the table because you are not being as authentic as you could be. And here's a path to get there. I actually believe there's the opportunity to do that for just a number of industries. And whether you don't have to be the subject matter expert, by partnering with people and saying, let's do this for medical professionals.
Yes.
Let's do this for lawyers. Let's do this for, I think you will help people in different industries or professions with that approach versus just the general broad, because the connection is so much deeper and relevant because they get to see themselves in their work, right? As well as not just me.
I will tell you, and just honestly,
and
maybe it's bad, but here's the real talk about, I love what you're saying. But I'll tell you some incidental findings.
Please.
I got picked up by Fidelity. It was a beautiful story. Got picked up by Fidelity. Hey, we read your book. Cool. Super cool. Why don't we host a dinner and we'll fund your book launch?
Nice.
So we were in Wilmette, Illinois, and went to a super fancy pants steakhouse. And we invited about 20 financial advisors to come. The thing was, I worked with these advisors. They are now, at this point, personally known to me.
Gotcha.
And exceptional human beings, average age over 58 in that room.
Gotcha.
But there was at least a couple $1 billion in that room.
Gotcha.
And when I say a couple $1 billion in that room, it's because that's the assets under management that they command.
Sure.
Right? And God bless Fidelity. I'm so thankful they gave me that shot. The problem is, the real talk problem is when you get up there, and I was saying, like, you got to be careful about this canned messaging that these firms do. You should have your own authentic voice. Your quality of care comes from your active listening. You know, they're all kind of yawning and eating their steak like, duh, but I make $2 million a year. Like, and I'm 58. So I'm just going to ride this thing. You know, nothing's broken. It's working. I worked my whole life to get to this revenue stream. And like, thanks, nice dinner, but moving on. That's the reality of the most successful practitioners in all sectors are older. Right?
Got it.
So they're older. Like at least in the financial industry, average age nationally is 56 plus.
Sure.
And if they're the top percent, 1% of the 1% of the people who are kicking butt,
right,
they're not interested in that.
Yeah.
They're interested in like riding off into the sunset.
Yeah.
So that becomes this reality.
Got it.
Where there has to be a shift of like, okay, well now maybe I can focus on the younger ones so that we can make an army of, active listening, open heart, serving.
Got it.
Right.
Got it.
So that's hard. That's the hard reality.
Got it.
There's another thing I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
So I opened with saying I didn't have any plans. I surrendered, and all these things came to pass. I told you about the kids' Fox Tribe. This book launch I think was great. Again, I'll say thanks to Fidelity. It didn't go the way I thought, but I was trying to make all my plans, and then other things emerged.
Gotcha.
So I ended up deciding to write a financial plan. One of our mutual friends is an ultra high net worth gentleman. And so I said, Mark, do me a favor. I need to see your financial plan.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. And Mark and I met because he was a client.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
And he ends up sending me this financial plan that it blew my mind. Right? I worked at JP like for a decade.
Yeah.
In wealth management.
Yeah.
Right? And I never saw a financial plan like what he presented to me, where it's ultimately, it trains you to have an affluent mindset. And I felt robbed. I remember feeling angry.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, as I'm even talking about it now, I'm angry.
Wow.
And let me tell you why I'm angry. Because I know what the financial plan for the average person like you and I looks like from that company and all the other companies.
Right.
And it's almost insulting, James. It's like, hey, you want to save for a new car? Oh, this car's $1,000? Well, let's divide that into a monthly, and we'll have that monthly going in your savings.
Right.
You got a financial plan.
Right.
Give me 5 of those. Oh, you want a car? You want a vacation? You want a bike? You want to, and it's like, then they just divide it by that amount and call it a monthly, and then it just goes into the savings. Like, that is insulting, right?
Right.
But then I look at the ultra high net worth financial plan. And this is kind of funny, right? And it's teaching you how to have the mindset to be ultra wealthy. It's teaching you how to be worth at least $100 million, right? So I wrote my own financial plan based off this.
Interesting.
And that happened on accident. It's called the Family Operating System, the FOS. And my family is the first client. And so I sat them down teaching. So it's there's a portion called pillars and there's a portion called seasons. Your seasons are your age. Your pillars are your core integrity requirements.
Gotcha.
Right? So let's talk about my son Isaac. He's 8. One of the pillars is having a financial understanding. You got to understand finance in order to be worth $100 million.
Yeah.
Right? And you're 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I've made this quadrant where, okay, at 8 years old, how do you understand finance?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you need chores. That's your first Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So Monday through Saturday, you got these chores. Okay. Well, now you need to actually manage money. So now you need an allowance. And now you need accountability. If you don't do your chores, you don't get an allowance.
Right.
This is where it kind of gets sexy, where that sounds so boring to an 8-year-old. You're not going to get buy-in from an 8-year-old on managing his allowance, and he's not going to be excited to do his chores. But I had this Chase checking account for children where I can auto-program. If he makes the bed, he's going to get a bing. You made the bed, Dad approved your allowance.
Right.
And he's actually getting a digitized experience for accountability for him to bring money into his account. Another example is one of the pillars is family enterprise. What are you doing monetarily to contribute to your family? Well, he's an 8-year-old, right? And I have a 10-year-old and an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old. What are they going to do to contribute money? Well, I live in a kind of a country scenic area. We got a chicken coop. We got 25 chicken, and the children are taking care of the chicken. And there's a lot of work to do a chicken coop. and they have like a little local egg selling business. So now my children, now think about blessing children with that. Now they have an entrepreneurial, family-oriented mindset at age 8, at age 11, and age 12.
Right.
Now, I can go on and on about what the examples are that we're doing, but what's so important is when Mark gave me this plan and I like exploded, Mark's like, dude, this is boring. Like, this isn't what he's like, I'm yawning right now.
Yeah.
And I said, you're yawning because it was given to you, right? And my family's actually buying into it.
Yeah.
Like, they're the right ages. Like, they're at this age where they're like, oh, I want to talk about these pillars.
Right.
And Mark goes, well, now I'm listening. Like, wait a minute. What do you mean they're buying in, right? Then fast forward, we go through this model.
Yep.
And we have what we call the family board meeting. And the family board meeting, everyone boys in suits, girls in dresses. We put the presentation up of each child of what each of their pillars are in their season, and they present it. And I'm telling you, this was divine.
Wow.
Because I have a 12-year-old girl getting up there presenting exactly where she's at. Now, I'll give you an example. It's like for Isaac, what are some mishaps when you're 8 years old in a family? It's listed.
Right.
And the mishaps are we treat Isaac because he's 8, we treat him like he's 15.
Right.
And Isaac hears this and looks at, there's grandma and grandpa there too. And he goes, you know what? You all are too hard on me. I'm doing my best. And you guys are holding me to a standard that it's like, look, I get it. I'm doing these things, but like, is this really reasonable for my age?
Yeah.
Every single person, my 2 daughters, my mother, my father-in-law, we're all like, dude, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
But something magical happened there. The 8-year-old felt like he was heard by every generation in his family. And by the time this family operating system process is done, for the first time, your family's rowing together. Like, everyone knows what it means to have the Holden jersey. And everyone's rowing together. Another crazy random example.
Well, let me ask you this. Before you go next to why is that so important to the authenticity journey for you?
I think it's important to mankind. I think it's important to this leap of faith. It's important because we as nuclear families are only provided with resources that make us drift.
Gotcha.
We are only provided outside of getting some sort of familial therapy a bunch of BS,
Great
right?
point. Yep.
There is no real working resources for us to stick with each other and feel great about it, right? Because, I'm sorry.
That's
by
good.
the way, if you were worth $150 million, you'd get it,
right?
Which is what makes me mad, right? And I worked for that company, but I didn't work in the segment of 150,
right?
So I never saw those resources, which makes me especially mad, right? So that's the family operating system that happened on accident. My plan is 90 pages, and it took 7 months to do.
Gotcha.
Because you got to get the kids. How are you going to get an 8-year-old to understand philanthropy?
Yeah.
Well, we went downtown Chicago. I gave Isaac $5 bills.
Right.
And I said, I want you to go, and I want you to give $5 to whoever you see, and I want to know why. Right?
Yeah.
That's philanthropy to an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
So I, for the first time, by divine grace, somehow was made to steward the system to bring families who want to be closer.
So if I play this back, I'm just trying to connect the dots. You were going through conflict of solvency versus just walking with God and following God. And through choosing that path of following God, he brings you back to solvency in a different way.
Well,
is that fair?
None of this still has made money.
Got it.
Right.
But back to a plan maybe for solvency.
Yes.
And for broader solvency, not just you having to be the one who produces all the income, but now helping the family see their role in it as well, their possibilities.
Yes. And I think insolvency is more prevalent of a problem for people than solvency.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to have an abundance of insolvency concern.
Right.
And I think in order for me to purport to have a solution for it, I'm rewired.
Yeah.
I'm rewired.
I love
it. And this silver watch,
yeah.
I went, if you don't remember the analogy, I said the gold watch is being rich. The silver watch is being wealthy.
Yeah.
And I kept on asking God for the gold watch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Getting frustrated that it's not coming. Right? And God kept saying, no, man, you got the silver watch.
You got the silver watch.
And I just didn't get it.
And be happy with the silver watch.
But I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't what I was asking for.
Yeah.
Right?
That's good.
And then so it's like, well, no, this silver watch has afforded me this closeness to my family, this closeness to my friends, this closeness to my mother that, you know, my wife's mother passed away. This past 13 months in itself have been some people's 20 years.
Gotcha.
Right? So we did the family operating system. Let me tell you the 4 offerings of this Nicer Days.
Please.
The first one is an out-of-country, full immersion. Let's get you aligned with your family. And I was able to go to Fiji with 2 12-year-olds and 2 dads. We called it the Daddy-Daughter Alignment Lab. And man alive, like, wow. We were able, so many like bystanding women would come and watch me and this other father working with our daughters. It was some 14 days that we were there, right? And they'd be like, I wish my father did this for me.
Yeah.
Right? We did everything about like your body, your mindset, your attitude, how you manage your health. And I'll just give you one example that happened with the kids. We did a 4-day cleanse.
Yeah.
Right? And we're talking about how important food is to a child's body. Now, we're in Fiji. We're 17 hours ahead of Chicago time, right? And so we're out of our fishbowl into the South Pacific.
Yep.
And we're like, everywhere you go, there's sugar. Every move you make, there's bad scenes on the television. Everything you hear is polluting your soul. Yeah. Right? And let's just eat clean. Let's go non-processed. Let's understand what cholesterol is, what carbs are, what protein is, right? And so we're, no joke, from morning till night, we are sitting with notepads, a deck of cards, a speaker system, and we're sitting by the ocean for 8 to 10 hours a day, going over this for 14 days. After the 4th day, I call it like a zigzag. We're zagging. Like, you can eat whatever you want. Baby girl number 1 decides she wants bread. Yeah. Baby girl number 2 decides she wants a virgin pina colada. Yeah. And then the other dad says, I feel so good after these 4 days. I want a glass of water. Yeah. I want to keep like this. I said, I want a beer. Yeah. Right? So all of us zag. And baby girl 1, who had the bread, I am not exaggerating, assumed fetal position and passed out for 3 hours. Carb overload. Wow. Baby girl number 2, who had the pina colada, it's like, hey, my eyes feel like they're sagging. And I was like, I had the beer. I was like, I think everyone needs to go to their rooms and go to bed. And there's an agreement. The other dad who had water was like, fine, I'll make sure you guys all get back. And so the girl who had the pina colada looks at me and says, you know, I just realized that I feel like this every day in America. I said, well, what do you mean? I'm always tired. Yeah. I'm always unmotivated. Like, I was feeling really good by day 4. Right. And I'm like, why were you feeling really good? Well, I was having good food. Yeah. And I said, whoa, hit the pause button, hit the record button, and remember what you said. Because if you can bring this skill set back home, you will have a better life. You'll stop poisoning yourself. Yeah. That's just one of like 14 days, right? We went over finance. We had the girls write themselves a letter to their 18-year-old selves. And I just talked to the dad shortly before coming here, who's an executive for Goldman, and said, we're still getting compliments on how baby girl looks, right? Like, and how she's conducting herself. You see, I don't see too many resources like this for children. Yeah. But I specifically don't see resources that make dads closer to their daughters or sons closer to their sons.
What was the coming back? Like, what was the upshot for you as a family? And again, I'm trying to just, connect it to, since the book, to where you are now. Like, how did this contribute to this tapestry for Michael Holden?
Yeah.
Right? The family's experience here.
What's almost without words is when people come to our home. Yeah. Like, say 5 people have come to the house recently. Right. 4 of them are like, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel the love in these walls. Right. And no family's perfect. My daughters are like arch enemies, and there's constant drama. But we are closer in a way that I believe was the silver watch. Got it. That I believe was the whole point of this journey. And then that's the big thing, James. I might be rambling, and forgive me if I am.
No, you're good. You're good.
The whole point is, how do we share this with the whole world? Right. How do we share the fact that you are entitled to abundance? Yeah. that everything around the world wants to take that from you.
Right.
That as much as we think things are secure, like, say, an executive paycheck, they're in fact actually not secure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make yourself focus on the things that matter most? I was recently
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was recently a keynote speaker at Cornell University in New York, and I was talking to executive MBA females about finance. And it was super exciting for me because it was the first time that I didn't have to get every word I said approved by some legal group.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yes, I know.
And there was a rep from JP Morgan, and I was kind of like, ha ha ha, like,
Nice.
Look, I can say whatever I want. But what I opened with was, in finance, 20% are the fundamentals and the technicals. 80% is the emotions.
Yeah.
Why do we spend 100% on the 20%?
Right.
I mean, couldn't we even put a percent to my emotion of it? Right? And every person in the room was like, damn.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I was in the chair as of old,
Right.
I couldn't say that. Right? I could not, it would not be approved. Right? But then that translates to, wait a minute. Okay, you're talking about putting 100% of your effort into the lower yielding thing, right?
Yeah.
Then doesn't that also translate to life, right? So there's a Harvard study about what's the meaning of life, what's the meaning of happiness. It's the oldest mankind study of all time. And John F. Kennedy was one of the first people in there, and they took like their blood samples, they interviewed, they like took all this data, and after today it's 3,500 people, something like that. And ultimately they came down to what you will think about on your deathbed is the authenticity of your relationships, of how well you served your loved ones.
Right.
What percentage of our life, or of our cognitive mind, do we actually put into doing the reps for feeling good about what you're going to think about on your deathbed? It's not 100.
It's not 100.
It's not 80.
Surely.
It's not 50.
Surely. It takes us time to figure out what's truly important. And so this thing you experienced, is that your offering number one?
So thank you. And sorry if I'm all over the place.
Yeah, it's okay.
Offering number one is, let's get you out your fishbowl.
Yep.
Let's define a plan. It is the full submersion. Typically, it's like you want to align with something that you're missing.
Yeah.
The people that I've served, I've done a couple of these now, tend to be executives.
Gotcha.
And tend to be younger executives.
You've done how many already?
I've done 4.
Since last October?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You're moving. Okay, cool.
It's kind of crazy.
You're cooking.
The second offering is it's like a webinar to discuss.
Okay.
Right? And
one-on-one or more of a group?
It'll be more of a
full group webinar. Okay.
I will charge for it.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And what I did was I got with my my really good friend who helps me with the website, because that stuff's beyond the scope of my understanding.
Yeah.
And we made a code, HC Radio.
Okay.
HC Radio.
Excuse me?
Holy Culture Radio. HC Radio.
Nice.
And so HC Radio is the coupon code where you can join this live seminar for like half off of whatever it is.
Okay. So it's what's the website again? Nice.
It's the website's michaeleholden.com.
michaeleholden.com. Okay.
The other thing is I made this online course offering where I talk about the 7 Fs and this framework that I use to force alignment, to force authenticity.
Gotcha.
Right? And so I made this, it's a testimonial. I made these videos of what I did, right? So 7 Fs is make your formula, then you got to focus on your finance, your fitness, your family, your fun, and your friends. And
is that free, or how's that work?
So that's $55.
Okay,
it's $55 to just watch these videos, get a study guide, and have this interaction.
Gotcha.
But if you put in HC Radio, 55 becomes 33.
Nice. Okay.
And 33 is like in numerology. 33 is, it's like, and we talked a little bit about the 7 Fs on the first run. Now, allow me to dream with you. This online module has a before AQ assessment and an after AQ assessment.
Nice.
So when you go in and you take those tests, James, if I can get X amount of people to show betterment just based off the mention of are you being real with yourself?
Right.
I have a real shot at helping and being an instrument through God to change the world.
How long would it take a person, or should it take a person to go through the modules?
Yeah. I've had people do it in like 40 minutes.
Okay.
But then I've also had clients do it because the clients will do it slowly and marinate, right, on each thing. Like, okay, he's saying formula is the first one. What should my formula be? Because for me, my formula, the first pillar was finance.
Yep.
And I said, it has to be finance because if I don't have money to fund me, I'm worthless to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help my family. I can't help my friends. I can't fly to Pennsylvania. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right? So finance is important.
Yeah.
Fitness is second because if my body doesn't work, I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then after finance, after fitness, then it's like, okay, well, I better focus on my family at this point. Right? And it goes on.
Yeah.
But where I get excited is if I can get people to take this exam and numerically show you that there's betterment. So we talked about the first offering, James, was the let's go out of the country and let's focus on alignment and what you're gapping on, right? And then the second one is this live round discussion of what's authenticity in action, where it's not just like me as a professor, it's people talking, right? And then there'll be special guests. You don't know it yet, but you'll be one of them.
Oh, really?
And
nice.
then
Thank you very much.
Yeah. The third one is this online offering, right? And at some point, I'm going to create this family operating system to be an online offering first. And then, James, I'm going to go to churches with it.
Okay.
I'm going to go to churches with it because American families, global families need resources for the team to row together,
Absolutely.
Not to drift apart.
Absolutely.
And my family is the living witness of this, just like I'm the living witness of the authenticity journey. And then lastly is just coaching, right? And we like to, because I'm MBA trained and executive trained, I like to niche it out and say, I work with executives, but man alive, I do have, right now I have a very small book of business, and I choose it that way.
Gotcha.
Because I'm still doing this like dad presence thing.
Yes.
Right. So I make a custom plan based off the individual.
Yes.
I have several C-level executives that I'm working with. Several means a few, right? And then I also have some young men where, you know what? The treatment of AQ is the same. The one that's just on my heart that I have to mention is I got contacted by a gentleman, and for his own thing, I won't say it, but his father was a very close friend of mine, and his father passed away. Yeah. And I was very much present for that father's journey, and I get a random message from his son. And the random message was, I read your book, I looked you up, I don't even know what to say except, wow.
Yeah.
And it brought me to tears. I couldn't even respond to the kid. And I finally said, I had a real tough time when I got your message, not to just think about your dad. And what's evolving is we speak weekly. And the first week I spoke to this young man, I didn't have to do much other than encourage him to align with himself. But here's pathways of how to do it, right? Here's like a pathway for you as I'm listening to you to hear yourself more clearly.
Yeah.
By the second call, he was a completely different kid. I mean, it's like his posture went from like a curve to like straight.
Right.
And I'm finding that same output or result with C-level executives, where it's like you already have all this stuff in you, but you are so surrounded by the wagons of noise and side flanks and things to divert your attention that you have forgotten how you were masterfully created.
Well, not just things that divert your attention, things that you also feel like have compensation and career limiting impact.
And
I mean, let's be honest. When you're in those roles, you also feel. I had a boss who was so good to me when I got to JP. It was before the merger, and my first year coming up to get a bonus, right? And she was trying to impress upon me like, this is probably your first corporate bonus as vice president. Don't let it burn. And then she, when I got my first options, she said, don't take the golden handcuffs. And I said, what does that mean? I'll explain. Let's time together. And we got some time together. She said, the golden handcuffs is when you live into the bonuses and options to the extent that you feel like you must have them, and you begin to sacrifice who you are to keep them. That's what do you mean? You will see people's behavior, and when they get to the edge of they believe something strongly, but they then get to the edge of they think they are putting their stuff at risk.
Yes.
And so and
Nailed it.
months go by and I'm in a meeting and I'm watching this person who I believe is right on this topic, and I see them get to this point of tension with another executive who's a level or two above them, and then I see them kind of pull back.
Stand down.
And then my manager looks at me. I go, oh, I got it.
I had a mentor that said, in corporate America, you get too close to the sun, which the sun is the power.
Yep.
You get burned. And that's exactly what you're describing.
That's
the authenticity deficit.
Okay, so let me recap. I want to make sure I got this. So when you came again, giddy October, and made me walk around the lot with you 4 or 5 times after dinner, you were unpacking this book, Authenticity Deficit, Why Financial Advisors Fail, and you were, I call it that fresh zeal, uncovering state. I'm helping people, and you rightly were. And then at the same time, you were walking with this conflict of solvency, but continue to do the work God's calling you to do. But then you come out of the laboratory and get into the field, and you start doing more stuff as God is telling you to. So you take this trip, you have like this family awakening, you do this family operational system after our mutual friend gives it to you. You come back from that, you get more love in the house. Again, while still relationships still flourish in the reality, practical day to day. But now all this stuff is adding to not only your definition of authenticity, but the quotient and everything. And then you build products based off the field experience. So you go, that works really well. Let me build a product where I take people to do the same thing.
Yes.
I'm having all these other experiences. Let me do a webinar where I can share and talk about getting through it. If they can't do the webinar, let me record these 7F courses so they can get it. And last but not least, for those who need more hand-holding, want to really talk through it, I'll even do coaching for them.
Yeah.
And so now you've taken it and kind of given it 4 sets of legs that include your experience since releasing the book.
Yeah.
Is that a fair recap?
It's not only a fair recap, it's spot on.
Okay.
But like how we open this, I didn't plan for any of this.
Right.
I didn't sit down and say these will be the 4 legs.
Right.
What's insane about the surrender
is
that it just happened.
Gotcha.
And for the rest of my life now, James, because I did the work. You're right. Like, it's not like my life represents me sitting on a couch playing PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's not my life. It's okay if that's other folks' life. That wasn't my life. But for the rest of my days, I will yield. And I will wait for instruction from above.
Yeah.
And that's what this whole year has been. And it's unfolded these 4 legs amongst so many other things that are mind-blowing.
I fully agree.
It's a new operating system.
I fully agree. But the marketer in me just wants to lead with, I am authenticity now 2.0.
Yes.
Because I surrendered, and because what I've learned in my surrender, I now add to the full package of how I deliver the authenticity product. I'm sorry, I'm forever a marketer.
No, please. That's what I love about you, man.
Yeah, I'm forever thinking how do people receive this? Because if you lead with I've been following God and surrendering, people may think you've drifted from the authenticity message and that you're not on it. You're standing more on it. It's hardened by the experience.
It's hard. I'm standing more on my closeness, on my synchronicity, on my faith alignment, than I ever have in my entire life.
It's so good, man.
It feels good.
I'm happy for you,
man. I'm really happy.
I'm happy
too.
for you.
I should say I lost 50 pounds.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Yeah.
I lost 50 pounds in this time. I'm not perfect, but I did quit some vices that I've had my whole life. I don't need to publicly broadcast that, but
yeah, absolutely.
I'm a completely different person.
So cool.
And I'm following ways of doing it that are unconventional.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Is this authenticity shouldn't be unconventional. It should be required.
Man, that's so good. Before you leave, brother, remind people one more time where to go get this product.
Yes. So go to this website. It is michaeleholden.com. MICHAEL, E for Eric, Holden. And then you'll see a plethora of different options, right? There's like About, there's the AQ Journey. But when you go to the AQ Journey, you can go to that 7Fs, and you'd have to actually hit purchase. Now, this is something I charge money for, right? So you actually have to put in your credit card information. It's not a lead magnet or whatever. because I
a
had
real
no
product.
intention of like I have every intention of charging for it. So you got to put in your stuff and then put HC Radio.
Y'all should not have a hard time remembering that. Okay?
That's right. That's
HC
right.
Radio.
HC Radio.
Yeah.
And please, I encourage you, help me join the fight. If you can take the before test and the after test, this really is going to ignite my ability to spread the word that it works.
Yeah.
So that's one. So you can do the online one, and that's anytime.
Right.
But then the second one with the same coupon code, HC Radio, you can join one of the live discussions, which I believe is on November 20th.
Cool.
And I'm going to ask you to join if you can.
Cool.
It'll be like an hour and a half.
Cool.
And I'll have breakout rooms and stuff like that. But same gig. It costs money.
I actually think, we'll see. I think I'm in Chicago, flying back that day.
Oh, well,
yeah,
then,
but we'll see.
Then you have to, I'll pick you up and drop you off.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you. I just have to say, it's important to mention, you've heard me say it a lot, of how talented you are, man.
Oh, we're cutting that from you.
And stop it. But like just your intellectual curiosity, the experiences of your life, and how you bring your ecosystem that God called you to create and that you've done through him.
Praise God, bro.
And now you bring people like me who look up to you saying, hey, come join my system. And I come with people in my life that are my system.
Right.
That's the kingdom.
Praise God. That is the kingdom, bro. That's the work.
That's the
Thank
kingdom.
you, brother. Love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Thank you. Until next time, you know what it is, guys. Be informed, be empowered, be accountable. Much love.
Woo woo.
Blessings.